What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about the IRS Form W4 and 8 mistakes that I see happen all the time, and hopefully because you're watching this video, you're going to avoid them. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. So the first mistake that I see happen all the time on the IRS Form W4 is not using the online estimator. Now, your taxes are complicated. Your tax withholdings are setting yourself up to actually complete your taxes at the end of the year, but you need to withhold the correct amount. And that's why you're filling out the W-4. So it is complex, but to simplify it, using the online estimator is just going to organize it. So I'm going to show you exactly why. So if you look at this on this W-4 online estimator on the last page, the results page right here, the results page, we're going to see three numbers, 1, 2, and 3. Anticipated tax obligation is the total tax liability that you're going to have. Now, if you withhold all of it throughout the course of the year, then you're not going to owe anything. If you didn't withhold enough, then you're going to owe. And if you withheld too much, then you're going to get a refund. So basically, you just want to pay attention to this number and withhold this amount. But the only way you're going to do that is if you go through all of these steps. Now, once you do that, this is what it looks like when you're matching it up with your taxes. This is a 1040 from 2022. And if we look to line 24, total tax, that is going to be the same number, or that should be the same number. Of course, this is 2022, you're withholding for 2023, but that's how the taxes work. So use the online estimator. Don't try to use the paper version. I really wish they would get away with it or get rid of it and just use the online estimator, but they don't. That's just how it works, because there's a few variations that basically I never run into that you wouldn't use the online estimator, but you 100% should try to use the online estimator if you can. So that is mistake number 1, not using the online estimator. Mistake number 2 is I call the same situation. So if you have the same situation as somebody else, you might think, I'm just gonna fill out my W-4 the same as them, but you'd be wrong. And likely you're going to have a huge tax surprise at the end of the year. Now, that could be a big refund, or it could mean that you could owe, but you shouldn't use the same situation as somebody else. And here's why, for that reason. So if we go to the online estimator, when I entered in all the information, I had to enter in how much I withheld from each paycheck and for the year to date. So this is the amount. Now, if these numbers are different than the exact situation of somebody else, it's going to be off. So let me show you why. So if we scroll up here and we go look at the results, scroll down, and we're going to look at the W-4 that it's going to give us. We're going to click on it and it will open up, and it says enter in $1,071. So let me go to this paycheck calculator. So this is set up the exact same way, paid monthly, $120,000. And on that second tab, we're going to have 4 boxes. First, I got to change that to married filing jointly. But we're going to have 4 boxes. So we're going to have box 1, 2, 3, and 4. This matches up with the W-4. Box 1, 2, 3, and 4. So in that 4th box, we're going to put $1,071. But before I do, let me show you what we're actually withholding here. So this is the federal income tax that's going to be withheld at $910.08. If I just filled it out and signed it, meaning I left everything blank or just put in zeros. But I need to withhold an additional $1,071, so I'll put that in there, and this is going to jump by that amount. So now I'm going to withhold $1,981.08. Now let's go back to this online estimator for just a second. I'm going to close that W-4, scroll down here, and let's say that I withheld $7,500 year to date in the same situation. Scroll down, get my new W-4. It's going to make the adjustment for me, and we can see what it looks like. And it says, oh, I have to put $645 in step 3 instead, and nothing on line C with the extra withholding, step 4C. So if I go back here, I'm going to delete that out, and we're going to put $645, and it's going to reduce my tax withholdings just a little bit. The reason is because that first box is for the year, and this last box is per paycheck. That's why those numbers are so different. So $856.33. So you can see that the same exact situation, somebody that's married filing jointly, who earned $120,000, filling it out, maybe working for the same job, they would fill out their W-4s completely differently. So even if you ask me a lot of questions on it, I can't tell you how to fill out the W-4 without using the online estimator, without completely going through it, because again, it's your entire taxable situation. So number 3 on my list is multiple jobs. Now, this is a very understandable reason to get confused, that when you're getting a new job, or your spouse gets a new job, or you have a job and then your spouse gets a job, or vice versa, whatever, when you're adding jobs to your taxable situation, you need to account for that. And what you need to do is use the online estimator yet again, because you need to put in each and every single job. You can't just do it for your job. Now, there are ways where you can only update just your W-4, but I got to be honest, that's a lot more complicated, and it's going to take you a lot more time to make sure you're getting that tax withholding just right. And I haven't actually done a video to really explain that completely, but in reality, you should enter in all of your jobs. It's going to give you a new set of W-4s, and you should just resubmit all the W-4s just so your tax withholdings are as accurate as possible. And here it is. It's right on this page right here. It's on the income and withholding section. At the very top, you can just add the amount of jobs that you have for you and your spouse. So it says that right here. How many jobs will you and your spouse have this year? So past, present, and future. See that? Include past, present, and future jobs. So there you have it. Past, present, and future jobs for this taxable year. So obviously, if you had a job, but it ended in 2022, then it's not going to go in here. This is only for 2023. Whatever jobs you've had in 2023, whatever jobs you have in 2023, or if you know that you're going to start a new job, what job will you have and how much will you earn? Now, if you're not certain that you have another job, then don't enter in anything. And then when you get that new job, then you go back in and enter all your W-4s again. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but here's how you can get around that. You can print out each one of these pages so you know exactly what you put in, or you can go to the last page. And what did I change there? You can go to this last page and you can click this little print button right there, and it will print out all the information here. Now, of course, you need to pay attention and go ahead and update when you do it to update your year-to-date withholdings, because if you do this in a month, then obviously you're going to have more withholdings. So you're going to want to update that if you're redoing your IRS Form W-4. So that was with multiple jobs. Number 4 is a new job. And that is going to be exactly the same thing. But I see this problem a lot. Like, I got a new job. I haven't had withholdings right now. I just want to get this done quickly. Should I just sign it and submit it? No, you should go use the online estimator and go through it. Now, if for any reason that you need to just get it in because your employer is saying, I need you to give this to me now, well, sure, you can just sign it and give it to them, and then they'll give you a standard withholding based on that income, based on whatever filing status that you checked off. So it'll look just like this. So if you did that, it would look like, let's say we had a $120,000 job and we had all these as blank. And I just said, you know what? My filing status, married filing jointly, I'm just going to sign it and send it in. So on this page, this one right here, all these would be blank, right? So you just fill out the top. All these would be blank, just zeros or blank. Doesn't matter which. And then you just sign it down here, sign it right here, employee signature, give it to your employer and be done with it. This is what it would look like. You would withhold $910.08. That would be the standard based on that income for that filing status. And that's basically the minimum amount that you have to put on the IRS Form W-4. Now, maybe that's accurate, maybe it's not. But again, use the online estimator when you can, and then go ahead and resubmit. You can resubmit your IRS Form W-4 as many times as you want. Your payroll department might not be super happy with you if you're doing it every other week or every week, however often you get paid, but you can do that. So if you need to update it, and then move on. New job, again, enter in all the information with the online estimator. The next one is the child tax credit, and I get this mistake a lot. So again, and I think the IRS could do a lot better job at explaining this stuff, or at least setting up their form. So if we take a look at this form, which I think is I'm just going to say it's garbage. So step 3, claim dependents and other credits. A lot of people just think that this is only for the child tax credit or dependents, and rightfully so, because it's most of this is for that. It says doing all this math and multiply the amount of dependents that you have under the age of 17 by 2,000, and then multiply your dependents by 500. People are putting those numbers in there, and then putting that number in here, and getting this huge tax surprise at the end of the year, because that's the tax credit section. So what this form is then saying is, I'm going to qualify for all these tax credits. But if you don't have your withholding set up correctly, and you were not withholding enough to begin with, and then fast forward, you go ahead and put in a tax credit, it's going to actually calculate to withhold a lot less. So let me show you what that looks like. So if we look at a paycheck calculator again, and we go here, that tax credit section is right here. And even on ADP's website, it says any dependent amount. This is all tax credits. This isn't just child and dependent tax credits. It should just say tax credits, period. They can have a worksheet for the child tax credit, but it should just say tax credits, period. But let's put something like $4,000. Look how much that dropped. That was $910 before. Now it's $576. If we put in, say, $6,000, same thing, $410. And you might be wondering, well, if I have, 1, 2, or 3 kids, shouldn't I put that amount in there? And the answer is no. On almost every single case, unless it's, again, January 1st, that's when you should put it in there. But arguably, you should go through the online estimator to make sure it's as accurate as possible. And it could potentially make an adjustment. So that's where people get confused. They say like, oh, I have a kid and I should just put $2,000 in there. No, you should put all the information in and then put the child tax credit information in the online estimator. And then if it says put in $2,000, then put in $2,000. Doesn't mean you're not going to get the tax credit. You get the tax credit when you apply for it, when you file your taxes. These are the withholdings. They are different. So just putting $2,000 doesn't mean that you qualify. It means that you're claiming that you qualify. When you actually qualify will be when you file your actual taxes. So that's what you need to do. So if it spits out that you should put in $1,000 and you have 3 kids, put in $1,000. Don't put in $6,000. Put in whatever the online estimator says. Just as long as you put in the information correctly, that's what you should go with on the IRS Form W-4. So next one is going to be looking at other credits. So again, if we look at the online estimator, and this is why I like it, because it walks you through all these tax credits. Any one of these tax credits. You want to buy an EV, you got your tax credit right there. You have some educational credits, American Opportunities credits, stuff like that, right there, educational credits. Children and child care credits, dependent credits, right there. Add all the children up, put them in there, and it will do all the math for you. So that's all you need to do. These are your tax credits. That's why I like doing the online estimator, because if you have a question about it, look, the question marks are right there. It's even going to give you links to like the publications. Look at that. Super simple. You can educate yourself, and then you can really understand how the system works so you can make the system work for you. And number 7 is looking at your adjustments. Now, this is adjustments to your IRS Form W-4, but you can figure this stuff out in advance, which will affect your paycheck. What am I talking about? These are contributions to like your 401k, FSA, HSA. You can see exactly how it's going to affect your paycheck or any of the credits or the other deductions that you might qualify for. So let me show you. So right here, if we just look at that income tab again and scroll all the way down, you can go in here and say, okay, I contributed to a 401k and enter the amount per pay period, enter amount year to date. So you can say, well, you know what? I want to contribute $500 per paycheck, but I haven't done anything so far. And then it will make the adjustment for you on the very end. On the last page, it's going to show you what that's going to look like. So it will make that anticipated tax obligation should change. That's $10,487 right now. If we come back to here and we say enter your federal tax per pay period, and then enter the amount for that 401k. So let's say $1,000. So we can see a little bit of a change there. We go to the very end, results, and now it's brought that down to $10,159. So let's go ahead and say, you know what? Let's save quite a bit more. I want to save $4,000 each month for the rest of the year. So about 40% of my paycheck. So we go to the very end, and we can see that it dropped to $8,719. If you're wondering what that looks like on a per paycheck basis, come down to the W-4, do the same thing, click on the little link, and then it will print out exactly what you should put in there. and it's saying 203. So if we go to our paycheck calculator again, enter it in there, it's going to tell you exactly what your paycheck is. So it's going to make all of the adjustments for you. So that's how you can use that. So any adjustments, deductions, you can use the online estimator, and it's going to walk you through from A to Z. So that's a great way, and probably a mistake that I see quite often, that people don't enter in all of that information and they don't realize, hey, I'm paying all of these taxes. I want to have the least withheld on my taxes. Why? Why do you want to have the least withheld on your taxes? Just so you can pay at the end of the year? Or is the real question, I would like to reduce my total tax liability? If that's the case, that's where you should look. Those are strategies to actually reduce your total taxes. And the last one is adjustments to the adjustments. So this is a problem that I see. On the online estimator, when you're doing it over here, if we get to that last page and we printed it out, and just for argument's sake, let's say I printed this out and I took a look at it and I determined that I have 3 kids, and I look at this and says, well, it says 645, so I have 3 kids, so I'm going to go ahead and enter in 6,000 here, and then I'm going to go ahead and add that here, so now I'm going to put in $6,645. The problem with that is that means you're going to withhold too little, and then you're going to get a huge tax bill at the end of the year, and you're going to be shocked, and you're going to come back to the W-4 and said, I put it in there, but what you forgot is you made an adjustment to the adjustment. So let the online estimator do the work for you. Even if you have 12 kids, put them in there. But if it only says to put 1,000, put 1,000. So that's it. So these are probably the biggest mistakes that I see with the IRS Form W-4. And if you just take the time to use the online estimator, educate yourself about how the taxes work, because it's very important. That's how you can figure out how to reduce them. You're just going to be a lot better off. If you have any questions on this stuff, feel free to leave a comment down below. Ask me as many as you want, and I'll probably respond to all of them. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.